Am I the asshole for banning my boyfriend's best friend from my dinner parties after he turned my home into his personal pigsty? I never thought I'd be writing this post, but here we are. I'm Sarah, 23 female, and I've been living with my boyfriend David, 25 male, for the past couple of years. We've got this amazing tradition that started way back when we were just dating. Once a month, I host these epic dinner parties for David's crew of 5 guy friends. Now, before anyone jumps down my throat about playing the perfect girlfriend, let me be crystal clear. I love doing this. Cooking is my passion, not my obligation. I spend hours planning menus, trying new recipes, setting the perfect table. It's like hosting my own little Food Network show, except my audience actually appreciates good food and doesn't judge my messy kitchen hair. These aren't just David's friends anymore. After 6 years, they're my friends too. We've been through college graduations, job changes, relationship drama, the works. The setup is simple. I cook, usually something ambitious like homemade pasta or a full roast. Everyone eats, laughs, argues about sports, and then most of them help load the dishwasher before heading home. It's organized chaos at its finest, and honestly, it's become the highlight of my month. Enter Mark. Mark, 25 male, is David's best friend since middle school. You know the type, practically joined at the hip, finish each other's sentences, have inside jokes that make everyone else feel like outsiders. Under normal circumstances, Mark's actually pretty great. Funny, loyal to a fault, and he makes a killer playlist for our dinner parties. But normal circumstances went out the window about a month ago when Mark's girlfriend of 2 years dumped him. And I mean dumped him. Apparently, she'd been cheating for months and just decided to come clean out of nowhere. The guy was absolutely devastated. David, being the incredible friend he is, immediately opened our doors. "Mark needs us right now," he said. And of course, I agreed. We all work remotely, so it made perfect sense for Mark to come over during the day instead of wallowing alone in his apartment. What I didn't sign up for was Mark treating our home like his personal recovery center with me as the unpaid cleaning staff. Picture this. I wake up every morning to find at least 3 coffee mugs scattered around our living room. One on the coffee table with a gross film on top, one in the kitchen counter, next to a pile of coffee grounds he somehow managed to spill everywhere, and usually one in the weirdest place possible. Once I found one in our bathroom, and I'm still trying to figure out the logic there. But the coffee mugs were just the beginning. Water glasses multiplied like rabbits throughout our house. Crumbs from whatever he was stress eating covered every surface he touched. Dirty plates stacked up in the sink because apparently walking 5 feet to the dishwasher was too much effort. The absolute final straw was when I found his sweaty gym socks draped over our dining room chair after he'd worked out in our living room. I tried to subtle approach first. Little comments like, "Hey Mark, just so you know, this isn't one of our dinner parties, so the full service treatment isn't included," paired with a laugh to keep things light. He'd literally roll his eyes at me and continue doing whatever he was doing. Eye roll, like I was his nagging mother instead of the person graciously allowing him to crash at our place during his emotional crisis. After 2 weeks of this, I finally talked to David. "Look, I get that Mark's going through a tough time, but I'm not his maid. If he's going to be here every day, he needs to clean up after himself." David, bless his heart, immediately had a conversation with Mark. For exactly 3 days, Mark made an effort. He actually put his dishes in the dishwasher. He wiped down the counter after making coffee. I thought we'd turned a corner. Then he went right back to his old habits, except now with an extra layer of resentment, because apparently being asked to clean up after himself was somehow offensive. David could see I was getting frustrated, probably because I started passive-aggressively cleaning up Mark's messes while muttering under my breath, so he implemented a new rule. Mark could only come over once a week, and David would handle all the cleanup. But here's the thing. The damage was already done. Every time I walked into my kitchen and saw Mark lounging on our couch, I'd start mentally cataloging all the extra work I'd have to do later. It completely changed the vibe of our home, from this comfortable, welcoming space to a place where I felt like I was constantly on cleanup duty. Fast forward to yesterday. I was having one of those days where I just wanted to cook something elaborate and enjoy good company. You know the feeling when you want to try that new braised short rib recipe you've been bookmarking for months, open a nice bottle of wine, and just relax with friends? So I started texting everyone about dinner plans. Jake? Absolutely in, and he's bringing dessert. Chris? Wouldn't miss it. Tom and Alex? They're even offering to bring wine and appetizers. But when I got to Mark's name in my contacts, I just couldn't. I sat there staring at his contact info for a good 5 minutes, thinking about how the evening would go. I'd spend hours cooking, He'd show up, eat my food, leave his plate on the table, and disappear while everyone else helped clean up. The thought of it genuinely made my stomach turn. So I didn't invite him. David noticed, but didn't say anything. Maybe he understood. Maybe he was just avoiding conflict. I honestly couldn't tell. The dinner was absolutely perfect. Everyone was relaxed, the conversation flowed, and for the first time in weeks, I enjoyed hosting without that underlying stress of knowing I'd have to clean up after someone who couldn't be bothered to show me basic respect. Today, Mark came by to pick up some stuff he'd left here. Probably another coffee mug, knowing my luck, and he immediately asked why he wasn't invited to dinner. I could have made up some excuse about it being last minute or a smaller group, but I was honestly exhausted from walking on eggshells. So I told him the truth. Mark, I love having you over, but I can't keep hosting someone who treats our home like a hotel with a maid service. Until you can consistently clean up after yourself, I'm not comfortable cooking for you. His reaction was intense. He called me petty and said it was completely unfair to exclude him over just a dirty coffee mug. He kept emphasizing just, like the issue was one isolated incident instead of weeks of disrespectful behavior. I tried to explain. It's not about one mug, Mark. It's about respect. Everyone else helps out, or at least cleans up their own mess. You've been here almost every day for a month, and I shouldn't have to ask a grown man to put his dishes in the dishwasher. But he wasn't hearing it. He got increasingly angry, called me an asshole, said I was power tripping, and stormed out. Now I'm second-guessing everything. David's been quiet about the whole situation, and I can't tell if he agrees with me or if he's just trying to avoid drama. Part of me wonders if I should have just sucked it up and continued cleaning up after Mark since he's going through such a difficult time. But another part of me is furious that I'm even questioning myself. Why should I have to sacrifice my comfort and peace of mind in my own home because someone else can't show basic courtesy? For context, this is David's house, technically, but we've been living together for over 2 years and split all the bills. I'm not some controlling girlfriend trying to keep his friends away. These guys are genuinely important to me, too. My own friend group has serious food allergies, so when I want to host dinner parties, David's friends are really my only option for sharing my favorite hobby. I genuinely love cooking for people who appreciate it, but I refuse to be taken advantage of, especially in my own home. So, Reddit, am I the asshole? Did I overreact to Mark's behavior, or was I right to finally set boundaries? Should I have given him another chance, or was excluding him from dinner the wake-up call he needed? Edit. For everyone asking, yes, I've talked to David about all of this extensively. He's been supportive, but is obviously in a difficult position between his girlfriend and his best friend. The one-day-a-week compromise was his idea, and he has been cleaning up after Mark when he visits. I appreciate that he's trying to find middle ground, but it doesn't change how I feel about hosting Mark until his attitude changes. Update. The responses here have been incredibly validating. I'm showing this thread to David tonight, not to create drama, but because I think seeing outside perspectives might help him understand why this situation has been so frustrating for me. Thanks for helping me realize I'm not crazy for expecting basic respect in my own home. Top comments. NTA at all. I'm a professional chef, and I hate when people disrespect the kitchen and dining space. The fact that you've been doing this for 6 years and Mark thinks he can just waltz in and treat you like hired help is absolutely infuriating. Also, can we talk about how he found his socks on your dining room chair? That's not depression behavior. That's straight up disrespectful behavior. Depression makes you leave dishes in your own sink, not scatter your dirty laundry around someone else's house. You're a saint for even giving him multiple chances. Most people would have banned him after week 1. Comment. Absolutely NTA. This hits close to home for me. I had a similar situation with my sister-in-law who kept coming over after her divorce and treating my house like a hotel. The breaking point was when I found her dirty underwear in my guest bathroom laundry basket. She was literally doing her laundry at my house without asking. When I finally put my foot down, everyone said I was being harsh during her difficult time. But guess what? She found other ways to cope that didn't involve me being her unpaid housekeeper, and our relationship actually improved once she started respecting boundaries. Mark will survive not getting free gourmet meals. He might even learn to be a better houseguest. Author. Oh my God, the underwear thing made me physically cringe. I'm so sorry you went through that. It's wild how people think going through a hard time equals basic manners no longer apply. Glad you stood your ground. Comment. Info. Has Mark always been this messy, or is this new behavior since the breakup? Because if he's always been like this, then David has been enabling him for years, and you have a boyfriend problem, not a Mark problem. If this is new behavior, then Mark is using his breakup as an excuse to be a slob, and you still don't have to put up with it. Either way, NTA. Author. Great question. He's always been a bit messy, but nothing like this. At our monthly dinners, he'd sometimes leave his plate on the table, but it was more like typical guy behavior, not this level of chaos. The daily mess is definitely new, but the eye-rolling and attitude when I asked him to clean up, that felt very familiar, like I'd just never been in a position to call him out on it before. Comment. NTA, but I'm genuinely curious about the logistics here. You said you all work from home. What does Mark actually do all day at your place? Is he working on his laptop, or is he just, hanging around your house while you and David are trying to work? Because if he's literally just sitting around your house all day making messes while you and David are trying to work, that's a whole nother level of inconsiderate. Also, props to you for the cooking hobby. The braised short ribs comment made me hungry. Do you have any recipes you'd recommend for someone trying to up their hosting game? Author. Oh man, you hit on something that bugs me so much. Mark will set up his laptop at our dining table, the same table I spend hours setting for dinner parties, and then proceed to eat breakfast there, have multiple coffee breaks, sometimes even lunch. By the time he's done working, the table looks like a hurricane hit it. Meanwhile, David and I have proper desk setups in the office because we actually live here and respect the space. And yes, the braised short ribs are from Joshua Weissman's cookbook. Highly recommend. Comment. NTA. And honestly, David needs to step up more here. I get that Mark is his best friend and going through a rough patch, but his girlfriend, who has been incredibly accommodating, shouldn't have to become the bad guy because David won't have tough conversations with his friend. The fact that David saw you getting frustrated and his solution was to limit Mark's visits instead of addressing Mark's behavior tells me he knows exactly how inappropriate Mark is being. He's just hoping you'll tolerate it so he doesn't have to deal with conflict. Author. This is something I've been thinking about a lot. David did talk to Mark, and Mark improved for a few days, but then David didn't follow up when the behavior returned. I think you're right that he's trying to avoid conflict, but it's not fair to put all the emotional labor of dealing with this on me. Comment. The audacity of this man to say it's just a dirty coffee mug when you literally found his dirty socks on your furniture. The audacity. NTA, and honestly, I would have started charging him rent after week 2. Author. Right? The socks thing still haunts me. Like, in what universe is that acceptable behavior in someone else's house? I should have taken a picture for evidence, but I was too shocked to think clearly. Ha ha ha. Write what you think about this situation. Also, if you like this video, give a thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on the bell to receive notifications about the latest videos. See you next time. Bye-bye.